Ever wondered how to get an edge in your daily interactions? Today, we delve into the fascinating world of psychology, a field that influences our lives more than we often realize. This video aims to reveal 10 simple yet effective psychological tricks that you can use to subtly influence situations to your advantage. So buckle up for an intriguing journey into the human mind. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. First up, let's explore the Benjamin Franklin effect. This intriguing psychological trick is named after the renowned polymath who supposedly discovered it. The premise is simple yet effective. If you want someone to like you, ask them to do you a favor. An interesting quirk of the human mind is that when we do someone a favor, we tend to like them more as a result. This is because our brain struggles with the cognitive dissonance between our actions and our feelings. If we're helping someone, we rationalize it by assuming we must like them. It's a fascinating paradox. You'd think that doing favors for others would make them like you more, but it's actually the other way around. So if you're looking to foster goodwill or build rapport, consider asking for a small favor rather than offering one. So next time you want to win someone over, simply ask them for a favor. Moving on to our second trick, the power of silence. In a world where everyone seems to be making noise, silence can be a powerful tool. It is often overlooked, but when used correctly, it can be incredibly persuasive. Imagine you're in a negotiation. The other party has just made an offer, and instead of immediately responding, you hold a prolonged silence. This can cause discomfort, leading them to fill the silence, often by revealing more information or even making a better offer. Similarly, in everyday conversations, holding a silence after someone has finished talking can encourage them to continue speaking, sharing more than they initially intended. This can be especially useful for those in professions that require gathering information, such as journalists or therapists. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you want to encourage openness or gain an upper hand, try using the power of silence. Remember, sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Our third trick is called the mirror effect. This intriguing psychological phenomenon is about subtly imitating the body language, gestures, and even vocal inflections of the person you're interacting with. Now you may be wondering, why mirror someone else's actions? Well, this technique is a silent communicator of empathy. It's a non-verbal way of saying, I am like you, I understand you. When done subtly and naturally, it can significantly enhance trust and rapport between people. Think about it, haven't you felt a sense of connection with someone who is in sync with you? It's because mirroring subtly signals that you're on the same wavelength. But remember, subtlety is key. Overdoing it can come off as mimicry, which can be off-putting, so practice it wisely. Mirroring, a subtle yet powerful tool for connection. Next, let's delve into the door-in-the-face technique. This psychological trick is a real gem. It's all about making an initial extravagant request that you fully expect to be turned down. Then you follow up with a second, far more reasonable request. Picture this. You ask a friend to lend you £500. Predictably, they recoil at the idea. But then you ask if they could spare just £20 instead. Suddenly, this seems like a much smaller favor in comparison, and they're far more likely to agree. The brilliance of the door-in-the-face technique lies in the stark contrast between the two requests. The first request is so outlandish that it essentially slams the door in your face. But then, the second request gently reopens that door, seeming far more palatable after the initial shock. This technique manipulates our natural inclination to compromise, making the second request appear as a middle ground. An interesting way to get a yes, isn't it? Halfway through our list, we have the power of names. This psychological trick is as simple as it sounds, but don't underestimate its impact. Names are incredibly personal. They are a core part of our identity, our self-perception. When you use someone's name in a conversation, it's like a direct line to their emotions, making them feel seen, recognized, and valued. Think about it. How do you feel when someone uses your name? There's a good chance it piques your interest, makes you feel more connected to the speaker. It's this connection that can make the person you're speaking to more likely to favor you, to listen to your ideas, to be swayed by your arguments. It's not a magic spell, but it can certainly feel like one. So next time you're in a conversation, don't shy away from using names. A person's name, the sweetest sound to them in any language. Our sixth trick is the foot in the door technique. This psychological trick is a clever way to get someone to agree to a larger request, by first getting them to agree to a small one. It's all about setting the stage for compliance. Imagine this scenario. You're a fundraiser and you approach someone asking if they'd be willing to wear a small pin for a charity. It's a simple, non-intrusive request. Most people would agree to this. A week later, you return to the same person and ask if they'd be willing to make a small donation. The chances are higher that they'll agree because they've already said yes once before. This technique works because the initial small request creates a bond of compliance. The person feels more obligated to continue saying yes to subsequent requests. It's a powerful tool in persuasion and can be used in various settings, from sales to social interactions. Remember, a small yes can lead to a bigger one. Next up, the scarcity principle. This intriguing psychological trick is all about how people usually want something more when they believe it's in short supply. It's like when you see a limited edition tag on a product or only 2 seats left while booking a flight. This principle taps into our inherent fear of missing out. When we perceive something as scarce, it automatically becomes more desirable, more valuable in our eyes. It's a knee-jerk reaction, hardwired into our brains since the dawn of humanity. Back then, scarcity could mean the difference between life and death. Now it's less about survival and more about social standing or satisfaction. Advertisers and retailers often use this principle to their advantage, creating an artificial sense of urgency to drive sales. But remember, awareness is the first step to not falling for it. So whether it's the last piece of cake or a limited time offer, scarcity can push our buttons in surprising ways. Scarcity, a powerful motivator indeed. Moving on, we have the anchoring effect. This psychological trick is a fascinating phenomenon that significantly influences our decision-making process. It's all about the power of initial information. Consider this. You walk into a store and you see a pair of shoes originally priced at £200, now on sale for £100. The initial higher price serves as an anchor, making the sale price seem like an absolute steal. But if you had seen the shoes displayed with just the sale price of £100, you might not have considered it such a bargain. The anchoring effect suggests that we rely heavily on the first piece of information we receive when making decisions. It's used extensively in marketing, negotiations, and sales to influence our perception of value. So next time, don't let that initial price tag fool you. Anchoring, a useful trick for negotiations. Our penultimate trick is the halo effect. This psychological phenomenon is fascinating in its simplicity, yet powerful in its impact. It refers to the tendency we humans have to attribute positive traits to someone based on a single positive quality we notice about them. For instance, if someone is physically attractive, we might also perceive them as kind, intelligent, or capable, even without actual evidence of these traits. This positive bias extends well beyond physical attractiveness. It can be any positive attribute, be it charm, talent, or even a captivating voice. The halo effect subtly influences our judgments and perceptions, often without us realizing it. It's a testament to how our brains are wired to simplify complex information. This trick is widely used in marketing and advertising, where a single positive feature of a product or a company can significantly enhance its overall image. Remember, one good trait can cast a halo. Finally, we have the contrast effect. This fascinating psychological trick revolves around how our brains perceive things differently depending on what they're contrasted with. It's a trick our mind plays on us, and it happens more often than you might think. Consider the classic example of putting one hand in a bowl of hot water and the other in a bowl of cold water, then placing both in a bowl of room temperature water. The hand from the cold water will feel the room temperature water as hot, while the hand from the hot water will feel it as cold. The same water, but 2 different perceptions. Now imagine applying this concept in your daily life. When negotiating a price, for instance, starting with an extremely high number makes the actual price seem more reasonable, doesn't it? That's the contrast effect at work. It's a powerful tool, and understanding it can give you an edge in many situations. Contrast, it changes our perception. And there you have it, 10 simple psychological tricks that actually work. We've journeyed through the Benjamin Franklin effect, the power of silence, the mirror effect, the door in the face and foot in the door techniques, the power of names, the scarcity principle, the anchoring effect, the halo effect, and finally, the contrast effect. Each of these tactics can be a powerful tool when used correctly. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep these tricks in mind.